Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Friday, October 15th. And starting with the ASX here, with the US markets, we're looking at a potential low being in place over here. So do we do the same here as well? I think that what we need to do is monitor both situations. I think that this market can pull back to that old high here for this. So I think there's a move here, and then we can move down lower from this point. Now, that's one way to look at it. So I'm thinking that when we get to the end of the C wave here, we'll talk about this move here a bit more, but when we get to the end of it, let's just say the market comes up and corrects after 5 waves and has some sort of ABC sort of pattern. If the market's going to go higher than that wave C here, then we can turn bullish from that point. We can certainly look at this in a bullish light. We can put wave 1 there and 2 down here, and 3 will be up here for that, but we can talk about that later. And this wave 4 here, that would come in over here for that, and would look at this here. You could even look at this here as an A and a B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. A little bit rough because we've got overlap here, but it kind of suits. But at the same time, if we do it correctly, then we can look at it in a corrective pattern, but it doesn't matter. This move here, we can view it as wave 1 with an ABC for wave 2. And then we can look at this building here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, but we wouldn't look at it like that. We'd look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then building up further at that point. But for this case, for the X wave here, because we kind of want to be in that 50-60% retracement level area. So if I just take that there, that would be there. So really, we want to figure out, this area here becoming support on that. Well, the closest largest number is the 7,400. So I'm thinking that we allow this to play out up here, and then we're cautious that there could be a turn at this point coming down. It does appear that our resources are looking quite good. I'm seeing a little impulse wave up on US BHP, so we could have a turn in the metals market. We're seeing that in gold and copper and so on. And but will the mining sector drive this, because CBA here is looking a little bit weaker again here, and so if this is going to fold down here, we need to look at that as 1 and 2 here, but even as like a 3rd wave, 4th wave and 5th wave here, even in that small degree there, for this to pull down. What we can also do here as well now is that we can take that there and we can go long on that high there. So that's what we'll do. And, this could be up for 1 here, an A and a B and a C wave back here, and then push up through there. Do you know? That's quite possible as well. And that would help us with the bullish case for the ASX. But if that doesn't happen for CBA, then it's hard to see the ASX continuing to the upside. Anyway, food for thought. So I'm going through the same thing with the US markets in a way. So I really think that we just need to be sort of cautious when we get into this space, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So just to let you know, let's just recap that. It's okay to put wave 4 in play here, and then look at this as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and keep building to the upside. But this last little leg here, once it finishes its 5 waves, anything above that and we can turn bullish. But at the same time, it can be wave C of X, whatever, and come back down at that point. So we need to get past that little 5 wave structure in here. So that's what we'll be talking about today. Okay, so let's just cruise in here, and I was looking at it. I mean, yesterday when we spoke, I've had this as a wave B over here, and I just thought it's not that it's going to make any change to the bearish side here, because we were looking for an A and a B and a C wave here to finish that off as a B wave, or an A, B, C for a B wave here, and then move down at that point. But I'll look at it like this here as an A wave, an ABC for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here because it's quite messy, and then going up for 5. It doesn't really matter. All we need to do is look at that 5 wave structure there, and then we're either going to come down from that point, or we're going to have an A and a B and a C wave, and then we're going to move up at that point, and then that will take us into the bullish place. That's as simple as I can get it at this point. So we can put wave 1 up there, and wave 2 here, and so on, and wave 1 here, and wave 2 over here, and so on. We can do all that, but yeah, we just need a bit more evidence to call that in. So let's just continue our little journey inwards here. This is how we were looking at it yesterday. So we were looking at it as an A and a B and a C wave here. At the same time, we were thinking about wave 4 being in play, so that's still there, but we'll just put that over to this low over here for that. So none of this really matters. All that matters in my tiny little mind is that from this low here, we're looking up for wave 1 and back for wave 2 here. And then wave 3 going up here, and wave 4, we talked about going long there, obviously, and then wave 5 going up here. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3. So we've still got a little bit more to play out here for that. That will take us up to 74. So what we can do, if you're long at the moment, it might be worthwhile thinking about, the 74, and then looking for a classic trading levels pattern on that. That's just an old high there that we're sort of gunning for, but we can use the 74. And here at the 74, we're going to get some type of classic trading levels pattern, some sort of pattern here anyway. But the simple thing is that, well, all we need to know is that taking out that top, and that confirms the trend is going to continue, or the second high here. But this is the point where it can fail and move down. So in here you can see we've got 1 and 2 in. It's from wave 4 to wave 5 here. You can see we've got 1 and 2 in here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 going up here. So I just play it out at the 74. You know what the classic trading levels pattern looks like, and it's just this here. So if this is the 74, then the arrival, the reaction, this is where you should be getting out, and then the first high above the level is the reference point, and then back, and then take that long, going long above the top and going long here. That would be playing that out. And also too, if Friday closes strong, well then Monday's going to be strong as well. If Friday closes weak, then we're going to be weaker on the Monday. So what I'm thinking is that the futures market in the US and all the rest of them, they're going to push up in the first beginning of the session, but they could fade from that point. We could end up with Friday being weaker. So that's just another way to look at it with a bullish weekly cycle, where Friday closes is where Monday's going to open. What Friday does is what Monday's going to do. So, okay, so from that point, it's interesting how the ASX has snuck up, hasn't it? Why CBA has and the banks have sort of snuck down here for that. So it'll be interesting to see if these turn at this particular point and push up. So we're getting to a point of understanding things a little bit better. We're right on the 61.8% here. So we'll just see how that plays out. There's nothing I can really say or do here. I'm just looking for something that I can connect with, and all I can connect with is that high, and above that we need to be long. And yeah, and otherwise we'll sink lower here, and don't particularly want to trade, short it down here. So let's just see how it plays out. There's no real shift in ANZ as well. Still a bit of a weakness there as well. So nothing to sort of see there. China's still doing its thing here, so it should just continue to push up. It's not going to finish up in 3 waves from that low there, so there will be 5 waves up there. So that will continue up there, but it's that 1650 there that you need to be mindful of if you're long. And India's still pushing up as expected. They're nice and strong, very strong in fact. So we're going to end up going higher here. We're not going to get that trade set up there because that's just not going to get that. So it's just going to keep pushing up. So anyway, it is what it is. We need to count 5 waves up through here. I need to pull that apart, I guess, but I'm not going to do it now. Okay, that puts us over to the metals. I'm running a bit late today, so I'm going to be a bit quicker. Okay, so gold is the first one off the bat here. We can see that it's reached 18. We know 8's going to be a little bit of a problem. It looks quite strong though, so it should force its way through, but we should see some type of correction there. We'll be spending some time there. Where are we? Just here for that. So yesterday we were just expecting a bit of a pullback, which we got, and then going up for wave 3. I can't really see inside all of that just there. That could be it. As 1 and 2 in here, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to worry about it too much, but what I can say to you is that we're going to see the gold price be above and below, and I think that what we need to do is really just do nothing for the time being, but just to stead anxieties. The top of group 1 to the bottom of group 2 here, that's our natural swing range for this number. So don't worry about what it does in here. We'll just observe it and we'll see if we get our corrective patterns and so on as this as it moves along. So 18's a bit of a glass ceiling. Then we've got group 1 above and group 2 below. That will be the swing range for all of these corrections. So it's just going to be a waiting game in here. And once wave 4 start to mature, then we can kind of get a better grip on them and understanding. But when they're beginning, they're okay. We can get it. When they're sort of halfway through, that's where the problems are. But we'll see if we get, with all of these, we'll see if we'll get 5 waves down or 3 waves down in these moves here. But anyway, nothing to worry about. This market's just going to try to get above the level here, and then it'll be pushed back below it and so on and so on. So it's not going anywhere at this point. Silver will be much the same. Yeah, it's pushing up higher, so it will continue to climb a little bit. Crude oil, it's at 80. It's just going to keep bobbing there for a while. Obviously the trend is up, so it wants to push up, but we'll get a fold back down into that below the 80 as well in due course. And copper is pushing up nice and strong here, so it's reached major trading level 1, which is 10 in this case. So it's going to sort of stop there for a little bit, but it will push higher as well. So good for copper, and this bullish trend is looking pretty fabo, and more to go. So we want to have a look at natural gas while we're here. So let's just go to this watch list, energy, NG for gas. So we're on the 45-minute chart, nothing special about that. From the top here, we've got 5 waves down here, and then we've got a correction, and we've got 5 waves here. So we've got some sort of A, B, and C pattern here. Now, I don't know if we should take this wave 3 for the top, or we should be over here, some sort of triangles, an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave over here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. We can count this, it's not a problem. We got, wave 1 there, and probably wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So so far we've got 1 and 2 and 3. This may be a 4 to pull back, or it could just be an A, B, C. I don't know if we're working in groups of 3. What I can tell you though, being in the gas stocks is absolutely fine. And the point being here is that we're in a bullish correction of some description. Okay, just taking that top out here that I mentioned yesterday, that makes that 3 waves. That tells us that we're in a bullish correction. We're not at we may go a bit lower or whatever, but the thing is that we're in a correction, a bullish correction. So there's only one way, and that is up in due course, though. So as I explained here yesterday, I don't know what's going on in here just yet. I haven't had the time to ponder it, but I can tell you that the move down is bullish corrective, and in one way we're going up higher. Now we could drop below the level here, but I wouldn't really worry about that. We're looking at just been using Woodside as an example, but Santos is exactly the same. We're just waiting for a pullback in this space. We can look to go long above here. You may get trapped going along there as well. You may get trapped but if the market pushes up there, you may get trapped. We may end up with a situation that we go up here and then we go back down here. Do you know what I mean? And then we go up. So just understand that point. You know, because we're getting 5 waves here, that means we're going to get more going up. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter. That's why I mentioned, you know, that you could actually start buying. I think it was as in this correction here. It doesn't really matter because we're going up, you know, and it's stock. Long as you don't have leverage. If you've got CFDs, then don't do it. You need to be, if you're using CFDs and leverage, you're probably overexposing yourself. I mean, the CFDs are fantastic to trade short in, you know, that's what they're fantastic for. Now, when you're trading, either, you know, when you're trading, you've got a certain amount of capital and you can only risk a certain amount of capital per trade. So just because you've got extra money from the leverage, it doesn't mean that you should use it, because you're exposing yourself. You're putting yourself out on the ledge, and that's why your loss with the CFD provider is their profit, unless you're with a direct market access, a DMA rather than a market maker. So yeah, anyway, just watch your leverage and the overnight financing, which compounds every day. Okay, so that's all of the metals. Want to have a look at, go back to same thing again. We're going to go back, just have a look at the US dollar for a moment. Where are we? So we've had a bit of a pullback, but I'm thinking that we're just still in wave 4. I don't really have any evidence. I mean, we've got 5 waves down from the top. If we have another 5 waves down, well, then we'll know we've got a top in place. But otherwise, we'll need to look at that as wave 4. And we still need to move higher in that case. That's on the daily chart here. On the 15-minute chart, it'll be completely different to a point. That's from the top. So we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for 1, back for 2. And all the way down for 3, 4, and 5 here. So we'll have an A and a B and a C coming back up here. If we take out this low here again, this low here, then we know we've got a bearish market at that point. But this looks impulsive, so at minimum here, we're going to see an A, B, and C wave back to the 50-60%, and we're either going to move down from that point, or we're going to be moving directly up from that point. So let's just see what we've got here. We can count 5 waves up here. It's a bit dodgy, but 1 and 2 and 3 and A, B, C for 4 and up for 5 here. Or we can look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave for the B wave. So an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for this wave 4 here. We can put that wave 3 over there. So I'm not quite sure which way this is going to go just yet, but the trend is still up and there's no evidence of a move down so far except for this 5 waves. So to make another low here, that would tell us that we're on the bearish side at that point. The Australian market is looking, the dollar is looking quite chirpy and will push higher. So I think that even at minimum here, we'll see that the length of this here we'll see the length of that over here. So we can see it going to 75 at that point. There's a couple of ways to count it to the upside. Just this is one way with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 5 up here. This needs to go up further. That's not finished. 1 and 2. There'll be 3, 4, and 5 there, then 4, and then 5. That will take us to 75. So I think we'll see what we look like at that 75, just to make sure there's an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to this point, and then we go down. But anything above that will turn bullish at that point. The other way to look at this, I think, was on, I don't know if it was on the 1 hour tick chart. Yeah, 1 hour. So working it up from the low here, the last low, as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for 1, ABC for 2 here, then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, and then we're going up here. So we look at this is probably wave 1 to that point, and then 2, so that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3, therefore still need to go 4 and 5 and 5 to get to the, so we still need that fifth wave to come in, and then the fourth wave, and then the fifth wave here. So that, whichever way you want to count it, takes you up to that 75 area there. So what we're actually looking for here at the end of the day then is a classic trading levels pattern at this level here. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, an ABC pattern, and then we can go along from that point. That will tell us that we're going, that because we got 5 waves up here from the low, that means if we have a correction, we'll have another, and take that top out, we'll have another 5. So that's the one we want to trade. Otherwise, we just fail from here and then move lower at that point. So just going back to the daily chart here. So we could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and an ABC for 4 here and down for 5. We could also look at this in other ways as well. We can look at this down here for wave A here. We can look at this for wave B coming back up to the 50-60% mark, and then wave C over here. So there's a few different ways we can view this. So we just need to be a little bit careful. We'll just take step by step. But what I'm saying here is that from this low here, we come up to here, we get 5 waves in this move here, then we just really look for a pattern on this level here, and then we go along again from that point. We should try to understand where the other levels are in all of this, so I'll just pop that in there. So the 75 is the 50, so that's going to be kind of nice, and the 62% is up in the second supply area up here. So we'll see what it looks like at that particular point there. And if it's bullish at that point, it's just not going to go to the 60. We're going to have the same length as that there. We'll have up here somewhere. So we'll be up at the 78. From 75 as support, we'll go to 78. But group 2 will be in here as well, 65 and 72. So yeah, we'll see if that's bullish at that point. Rightio. So over to stocks. So the most exciting news that I've had is that I can see is, as you know, we've been talking about the lows here. This is US BHP, of course. Let me just bring this back in. We've got an A wave here, B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And I've been sort of scratching my head a little bit about this. It appears that we can put wave 5 here, and we can put wave C here and wave 2 here. On Australian BHP, this will be wave A here. I'm just monitoring as it goes up because it doesn't have a wave B. That's the top. That's the top here, but on the Australian market, that's the top over here with 5 waves down. So yeah, anyway, I've got to resolve that. But one of the things that we were looking for here, a couple of things, is we're looking for 5 waves up off the low there, and that appears that we've got 5 waves up off the low. So that's really good news. Let's just have a look at Australia in that regard. Don't have the 5 waves there yet, but we were talking about it yesterday, so today we're going to get it. So if you want to go long, then obviously it's probably, you know, BHP gaps around. It looks like Swiss cheese. So, but what we want to do here is copy that and then put that stop under here. Just keep it out of the way for the moment. And you might only want to do half a position here as well, because it is the bottom, and we can look to add on top of the closest largest number, which is 40 here. The situation here at the moment is we've got the other level in here, which is 38. That's where we're doing the dance from there. There's a classic trading levels pattern in there, I'd imagine. I'm not going to go into the intraday, but yeah, as far as I can see, is that this is the first time that we've got, I'm just going to put that on top of that bar there, so it'll probably open above that. And yeah, there'll be another opportunity there'll be a pullback here to cover that gap maybe. Anyway, we'll get to all of that. But in a nutshell, a position under this 40 and a position above it is be a nice way to start the game. And we can build in through group 1 over here, so 41, 42, and 43, because what we'll be looking for at 43 there is support on that 43. Support on 43 tells us that we're leaving this number, and then we'll head up to 45 at that point. So that's where we are. So having a position here and then try to get 3 or 4 little positions in here would be the right move. Way to go at the beginning of the trend. And I don't know if we're going to get an A wave here and a B wave and a C wave here, or we're going to go continue to go straight up from that point. I don't know, just step by step, so we can do. So you can see how we got this extra high here where the US BHP is lower, so we can look at it as an ABC. So yeah, bit of a tricky one, we'll get to that. So that pretty much puts us in line for other markets as well. So Rio here, is it Rio? Yeah, sorry. Get rid of that. We've already got a position here with a stop under here. We don't have 5 waves up here, so it's all at high risk. Fortescue. So maybe that was the low there already in. Which is the low there? 1390. Well, that looks like extra low there too, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll look at that on the intraday tomorrow. So that's it. Oh, did I look at the... Lost the plot this morning. Yeah, no, that's okay. We didn't look at iron ore though, did we? That's what I've missed. Okay, so yesterday when we looked at iron ore, sorry about that, I felt like I'd missed something. It's the trouble when you're in a bit of a rush. So the move up here, as I've mentioned before, I can't see it. It can be counted as corrective or impulsive, so it's not much help counting it. The move down through here is at the 61.8% mark, so let's just see how that holds in the next session, and let's just see if we push up from that point. I mean, obviously if we push up from this point, then and take that top out there, then we're on our way into a bullish, into a much bigger bullish move, which will take us pretty, I mean, of course this whole correction here can just be one leg down and we go for another leg up here and then we go down again, all of that sort of stuff. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Our step here is to get support on the 80 here, because when we move up here, this is the first supply zone and this level, and then the next supply zone is here. So when we get here, we expect profit taking. It's number 8, so let's just see if we can climb back on that. That's our first step. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.